Hey everybody, sorry that it's been a while since I did any videos, but I'm back, I guess, kind of, at least for right now. I kind of want to tell some stories, if you don't mind. I hope not, because I'm going to. I want to tell some stories about the most special moments of, like, seriously, of my life. Um, let's start with uh, meeting the love of my life. Um, I met Stafford while I was traveling on my journey, on my 5-year journey, that ended up being not 5 years, but um, whatever. I met Stafford, and I don't want to say I was falling in love immediately, like it wasn't love at first sight. We met through an app. He wanted to know more about my journey and was very interested in that. And I was staying at a host place, actually kind of on a vacation. Like I had stayed at this host place while he was here in Florida, and it was supposed to be a break whenever I stayed with him the first time, and he was like, I don't want to be a part of your journey, I don't want to be included in it. And then whenever I got here, he was like, I want to be included, this is so cool, it's amazing, I want to be a part of it. So I was like, okay, cool. And so I included him, and then at the end of the week, he was like, I know that you had planned on taking a week off because I told you that you were going to get a week off, and you didn't get that week off because I was included in it. And so I see it on your calendar that you're supposed to go to Miami and then come back up. And he was like, do you have a host for whenever you come back up? And I was like, no. And he was like, okay, I want you to come back up here. I'm going to be back home in Cape Cod, um, and I want you to use my place. And the home was a vacation home. And he was like, you can stay as long as you need to, but take time off and just relax. And I was like, cool. So ended up coming back up and stayed in Kissimmee. Sorry, I'm just getting tired. Stayed in Kissimmee, and ended up meeting Stafford through an app. And whenever I met him, I thought, and I still think, he is the most beautiful person I've ever met in my life. And my life just changed. Like, from that moment on, like, my life totally changed. Um, Hi, everybody. If you're tuning in, realize this video is probably going to be long, so bear with me. But he asked me questions, and then we talked. And I had no plans on my journey to meet anybody as far as like romantically or anything. And we met at this guy's place, at my host place. And the thing about it, he was just so full of energy and like happy, and I just was so attracted to it. I thought, this guy's amazing. He ended up laying on the ground. He found on the under the coffee table there was a cabin book, a book of pictures of cabins, talking about cabins and building cabins and cabins all over the country and maybe even world. I don't know. And he grabbed it and laid on the ground, and then invited me to come over and look at it with him. And whenever I was getting ready to get down, he said, come here, and he held me and wrapped his arm around me, and we looked at the book together. And meeting Stafford, it was like we had known each other for years or something, but we had only known each other for like a couple of hours at that point. And like I felt like this guy's like my best friend or something, and I just met him, and I was like, I can't fall into this, I can't fall into this because I'm on this journey, and there's no way it'll work. There's no way that we can make this work. And so I was like, I'm not going to fall for this. I can't do this. And I fell for it. I fell into it. He had to leave to go pick up his sister from school. And then later on, I believe it was that same night, he was going to go get food for his family at Chick-fil-A. And I was like, I love Chick-fil-A. I freaking love Chick-fil-A, and I love their tea. I really could use like a Chick-fil-A tea right now. I love their sweet tea. And he was like, well, cool, you should try some sometime while you're here, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, cool. And he was like, well, I got to go. And then not long after that, there was a knock on the door, and I was like, there should be nobody coming here. This is a vacation home. I don't have anybody coming over. What is going on? So I got up and looked at the people, and it was Stafford there. I opened up the door. I was like, why are you here? And, oh wait, there's more to the story. I'll finish this, but there was more to that story. And he brought in a bag of Chick-fil-A sandwich, and sweet tea. And I thought, this guy is so thoughtful and sweet. Oh my God, I'm falling. And yeah. What I was going to say is that whenever he was leaving to go to connect with his sister to go pick her up for school, he had left his keys and sunglasses and stuff on the kitchen table. And he left, and I thought in my mind, I was like, I should have kissed him or let him know that there was some kind of interest there, so it wasn't just like an odd, like, oh, I'm going to leave now and we may never see each other again. And I was like, there's not going to be, I don't think he's going to ever want to come back, because I didn't show that connection. And then 2 or 3 minutes later, he was like, he came and knocked on the door, and he was like, yeah, I forgot my keys and stuff. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, it's on the kitchen table. But this was like a few minutes later, and I was like, you should have already left. That's crazy. So he grabbed his stuff, and he was headed out the door, and where I was staying was like, there was like stairs. And as he was about to go down the stairs, I was like, hey. He was like, yeah. And I was like, do you care if I kiss you? And he was like, no. And I kissed him, and in my mind, when I kissed him, I was like, why can this not happen while I'm not on a journey? Why does this have to happen while I'm traveling and doing a photography project? Why can this not happen whenever I'm somewhere stable and not traveling and can actually get to know this guy and maybe move on to something much more? And after that, I was there for like 10 days total or something, and we saw each other like every day. And one of those days was his birthday, and he hadn't told me it was his birthday. I was just like, hey, you should come over tomorrow and have breakfast. I will make French toast, and we can hang out. And he was like, cool, we'll do that. And then he came over, but we didn't have any of the French toast bread, so we went to go to different grocery stores to try to find Texas toast bread. And we went like all over, like there was none of the Walmarts, nothing were had any of the French toast bread. And during that time he was like, sorry if my phone's going off a lot. And I was like, it's okay. And he was like, well, it's my birthday, so I'm getting a lot of Facebook notifications. And I was like, it's your birthday? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, why are you spending your birthday with some guy that you just met a couple days ago? That's absolutely insane. Like, why are you not? And he's like, I'd rather spend it with you. And we did. We spent the whole day together until he had to go to a concert with his sister later that night. And then it was an amazing week. It was an amazing time together. Um, and I always think about it. I always think about how happy I was, and like I remember it. Like I remember, like it was just like yesterday. I remember pieces of it, and yeah. Um, we ended up finding French toast bread, going home and making. I made him French toast, um, and then before I knew it, like time ran out, and it was time for me to go. And we had the night before I was supposed to leave. We had this is so stupid. I shouldn't be crying about this, but we had Panera bread, and he was like, "Do you want to ride home?" And I was like, "No, I can walk." And he left, and I remember thinking, God, why am I on this journey right now? Why can I not just stop it? Why can I not just be with this guy and see what can happen? We hadn't made any plans for a relationship. We hadn't made any kind of like guarantees of even talking after I left. And I sat in Panera and like tears just like rolled down my face. Um, and I'm like in public crying. People are like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm sure, but then I got up and walked home, or walked to my host place. And the next day, Stafford came and got me in the morning, and I took a mega bus out. And I was like, "There's no like." When I was on the mega bus, I was even crying. Like I tried not to cry in front of him, but when I was on the mega bus, I was even crying. And I was like, "There's no promise of anything because I'm traveling on this journey, and I don't want to lose this guy, but I don't know that it can last. Like, there's no way. I'm going to be traveling from state to state, and there's just no way that it can last." And Stafford believed different for some reason. And he would ask me if I wanted to try for more, if I wanted to do long distance dating, and if I wanted to have a long distance relationship. And I was like, "No, we can't make it work." And I was like, "I can be your friend and we can talk, but we can't make it work." And I got to my next place, which was actually, thank God, friends. Like I was staying with some friends in Tallahassee, and like they were like, I got there and I was like, I was exhausted from the traveling, but then I was like, I just met the most amazing guy in the world, and I had to leave him behind to continue my journey, and it sucks. It sucks ass. And they were like, oh, they were like feeling so bad about it, and I was like, "Can I just have alone time?" And I just went to their guest bedroom, and I laid on the bed and just laid there, and I cried and I cried and I cried, because I was like, "There's no way in hell that we can ever reconnect, that we can ever connect and have a relationship after this." And I fought it. Like I fought the long distance relationship hard. I fought it so hard, and um, I ended up making it by the end of October. Um, we had talked a lot. We had continued to talk and been romantic with each other and lovey with each other. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know if we can do this. And I remember having a dream about, it was me, Stafford's best friend, and some other guy. And he was like, "So are you ready to be together now?" And I was like, "I can't. I'm doing this journey." And he was like, "Okay." Him, his best friend, and the other guy walked away, and I had to watch as they walked away. And I woke up in like a panic, like crying. I was like, "No, like I can't lose him. Like I can't lose him. I can't chance losing him." And that day I called him and I was like, "Hey, if you're still available to be boyfriends, if you're still available for a relationship, if you want to still do this, then I am all for it." And I told him about my dream, and he laughed and he was like, "Yeah, we can be boyfriends." And I was like, "Oh my God, thank God." And I was so excited about it. And then like we started like, "Well, when are we going to see each other again? How are we going to make this work?" And we planned like for me to make it to California. This was like October 31st or something, and we planned for me to make it to California before, um, or make it to California on December 31st. And I would meet him in California December 31st, the night of December 31st, and we would go to Disneyland and um, and just have a week together. And not only that, like my family had disowned me, so I didn't really have family for the holidays, and I was traveling anyway. So even if I had family, I wouldn't have been able to really spend much time with them, or spend any time with them really. But I didn't, and he knew that, and he was like, "How about let's make it? I know it won't be Christmas, but let's make it like a Christmas, and I will bring gifts, and we can celebrate the holidays together. It'll be late, but we can do that." And I was like, "Really?" He was like, "Yeah, we'll do that. We'll make it work." And I was just amazed. And throughout that rest of the time between then and December 31st, we talked, and he was there every step of the journey. Every time I needed somebody to talk to, he was there. Every time that I had come some kind of struggle on the journey, he was there. He was there for the good and the bad, and it was like I didn't quite understand it. I didn't understand what he saw in me, what he saw in this, and but at the same time, I think he didn't understand what I saw in him, and what I saw in him was that he is the most beautiful person that I've ever met in my whole life. And we met up and went to the hotel and went to bed and cuddled. It was our first time to be able to sleep together, like actually sleep together in the same bed. And he just laid in my arms, and I was able to hold him, and I hadn't had that in like so long. And then we experienced Disneyland and California Adventure together, and just Anaheim, kind of walking around, and it was cold to him. I just remember it being really cold to him. And yeah, we walked around Anaheim, spent that like week together, and then he had to leave. And again, I was left like crying, and this time I think it really hit him even harder. And the day that he left, I was like, I'm ending this journey. I'm ending this thing, and I'm going to make sure that somehow or another we can spend our lives together, like we can give this like a fair shot. Because me traveling on a journey is not a fair shot at anything. And I talked to him about it, and he was like, yeah, whatever works, we'll make it work. We're going to make this work. And he was like, you don't have to end your journey for me. And I was like, no, I do. I have to end this for you because I want to be able to see what we have and to be able to see if we can have a life together. And I believed, and I still believe that we can, and we will end up probably getting married and probably spending our lives together. But what ended up happening was I continued the journey. I continued to travel. I went from state to state, and I had to figure out a way to be able to get to Florida and get stable. And Florida is actually where we live. And I traveled for a little bit longer, went around California, went to Vegas, and then that's whenever we planned for me to travel out from Vegas to Florida. And he was like, my family wants to host you, and so I will pay to get you out here, and you can come and stay with my family here for like a week. And so I was like, really? And I was like, they want to host me? And he was like, yeah, they want to get to know you. And I was like, great, that's amazing. But I was also very scared because he had chosen me to come out to his parents with, and I wasn't for sure how they took that exactly. Anyway, I arrived in Orlando, and he was like, okay, well, his mom drove him to come and pick me up, and she had so many questions for me in the car, and I was like, I don't. This is so awkward and so weird. And the same week, his sister was graduating from college, and I didn't want to take away from that. So I was like, I don't know if I should go or not. But anyway, we got there. We had to run some errands with her, and then we went to their place. And whenever I got there, um, Stafford had brought me to his room and is like, I got a surprise for you. And I was like, what kind of surprise? And he was like, let me get it. And he got a backpack, and in that backpack, it had a magic band, which is like how you get into Disney World. It had a new debit card for like our joint account that he would like make sure I had money in whenever he could afford to do so. And the debit card had had a picture of us from California Adventure with Goofy, and so many other like random things in the bag. And he was like, "We're gonna go to Disney World and we're gonna spend a week at Disney World." And while it was such an amazing gesture, it was super scary because I didn't have host for after that. I hadn't gotten a host scheduled for after that, and I was scared to death that I wouldn't. And so um, we went to Disney World and we had a vacation week, and then wait, that's actually off on time because I actually had come back, stayed with friends in Tallahassee for a little bit, and then went on the vacation thing. Um, and then, well, but whenever I came back from Vegas, this is like so skewed now. Whenever I got to Florida from Vegas, he met me. I stayed a night with him at an Airbnb. Then I traveled up to Tallahassee and stayed there for a little bit, and then came back down, but didn't have host for after coming back down to Orlando. And those hosts, what ended up happening was those hosts were like, "You're not gonna go like be on the streets. You're gonna have a host. We're going to host you again." So they invited me to come back up, and then I ended up staying there for like months, like 2 months, like until I could figure everything out. And they were like, "No, you need to figure out how to make this work to where if you want to end the journey, you can end it, and we're going to be here for you, and we're going to support that. And if that means a life with Stafford, that means a life with Stafford." And Stafford, on the other end, was like, "We're going to make it work, and I'm going to get us a place, and I'm going to make sure everything falls into place, and you can do photography freelance, and we'll make it work." And we did. He did. He did everything he could. He sacrificed everything he could to be able to get me to Orlando in basically a roommate situation where we lived together with a roommate, and we made it work. And but it's been challenging. It has been so challenging. It just has. It's been really challenging. It's been great. It's been amazing. But then we also had our challenges, like with adjusting to living with each other, and trying to figure out each other's like life and how to live best together. And we have had breaks in there, but the in between the breaks, what we've had has been beyond amazing. Like, my life experiences with Stafford have been better than any other life experiences I had before meeting Stafford. And we struggled with me trying to get freelance jobs and trying to figure out the income with that. I'm telling you this because no relationship is perfect. Like, you see us maybe, and I've heard people say, "Oh, you guys are so cute," but we had struggles. We've had struggles. We still have struggles that we have to make it through. It's not just like a cakewalk where we just can enjoy being together and it's just that easy. It's not. It's taken a lot of work for me to get into a balanced place, and I'm working still to get into that balanced place. And yeah, most recently, I just started school, and it's been a lot more challenging than what I expected it would be. And it's been very difficult, like adjusting to being back in school. And and I didn't totally expect it. But I started back to school for one, so I can hopefully move on to a career and actually make more money than just what I'm making with freelance photography. For two, I have GI Bill, so GI Bill pays me pays for my school, but also pays like housing. So it's like, okay, well that's income, and that's a better way for Stafford and I to survive. Um, and in that, I became so stressed out that I was trying to balance so much. I was trying to balance photography, writing, doing YouTube videos, and um, going to school. And in that balance, Stafford ended up feeling left out and felt neglected and didn't know exactly how to tell me that he felt neglected, so he just continued to feel neglected, and things went to shit. To be completely honest, things went to shit. And he ended up leaving again. The last time he left, I was like, oh, well, I'll just show that I'm moving on. I'll show that life is fun being single. And life can be fun being single. Like, it is fun, I guess. But something that he made a point of telling me whenever he came back the last time was that, oh, it looked like you just were having so much fun and you enjoyed being single so much more than being with me. And honestly, I don't. My life is 1,000 times better with him. And I miss him so much. It's been like a week, and I want to make sure that he knows, because he does watch this. I know he's probably going to watch this. He like keeps up with me anytime that we're apart, just like I keep up with him. Like, I'm always checking his Facebook and always seeing his Snapchats, and he's seeing mine. And I just want him to know this time that I love him more than anything in this world. And no, being single is not more fun than being with him. It's not. And I suck at life. I suck. Just like everybody else, just like anybody else sucks at life. I'm trying my hardest to just have a balance and be able to continue on. And I don't know how to always do that. And I felt at that. I felt at that because I let him down if he felt neglected, and it was never, ever my intention. And here I am. It's not just all fun being single. I miss him like crazy right now, and he's only been gone like a week. But I want to make sure that this time while he's away that he knows that no, life is not amazing without him. It's not. He's my everything. He's my baby. He's the man of my dreams. Like, the person that I seriously 100% have no doubts that I want to spend my life with. And doing this and being apart sucks ass. I try to make the most of it. I'm trying to do the best I can. And it's not because I'm lonely, because I'm not lonely. I don't feel lonely right now. It's because I miss him, because I love him, and I want to spend every moment possible with him. And I'm not getting to do that right now. And it sucks. So YouTube sometimes is like my counseling session where I can just talk and vent, and welcome. And thanks for watching my venting session. I'm missing him so bad right now. And I don't know what to do. And I don't want to be overbearing and like sending 1,000 texts or Facebook messages or snaps or whatever. Like, I don't want to do that. And I want him to feel like he can do as he pleases, because he is his own person. But I also want him to know that I miss him, and I can't wait to see him again and spend time with him again. And I will continue to try to do my best, and I'm going to make mistakes regardless. After this, even if we get back together, I'm still going to make mistakes, but I'm trying my hardest to be able to stay balanced and keep my focus on our relationship and just general life balance. So anyway, this is probably too much information for most people. Sorry. But it is what it is. I just wanted to share that. Thank you for listening to me vent. I think that this is the most people I've ever had on here live, but thank you for tuning in. And yeah, Stafford, if you're watching, I love you, baby, and I miss you so bad. And I'm sorry that you felt neglected. I'm to blame for this, and I know that, and I accept that. And can't wait to see you again, babe. I love you. Illy.